Lieben, ich grüße euch. Heute freue ich mich total darauf, euch das Interview mit dem wunderbaren Cosmic zu präsentieren. Cosmic, ich folge ihm schon seit einiger Weile auf Instagram und ich war einfach so mutig und habe ihn einfach angeschrieben. Und was daraus passiert ist, das seht ihr in diesem Interview. Das Interview ist auf Englisch, aber ich glaube, die meisten verstehen ihn trotzdem ziemlich gut. Er spricht nämlich sehr gut und sehr gut verständlich Englisch. Viel Spaß!
Ich freue mich riesig, hier den wunderbaren Cosmic euch vorstellen zu dürfen. Cosmic folge ich schon länger auf Instagram und das Interview wird dieses Mal auf Englisch stattfinden. So welcome Cosmic, I'm so happy to introduce you.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoy your content online on Instagram. I'm following you now for a while and it's really mind-blowing what you're sharing, and it always has such a good frequency. And I was so delighted when you said, yeah, of course we can do a YouTube interview and let's do it. And I was like, wow.
I was delighted when you asked me. I was honored, and I'm very grateful for sharing this moment and exchange of energy right now. Very.
And I think it's so important, especially we as light workers, that we are coming together and sharing our knowledge and support each other and support this world to wake up. And I find it quite fascinating how you came to your journey right now. Like we talked about it, you were in the military and you studied engineering and you live in Miami in America. So it's not very, for me, like the most spiritual place in the world. Like I still have this music videos in my head, like with all this American music artists, with half naked women. So it's not very, for me, this most spiritual place. So I'm very excited to hear more about your journey. So how come you were in the military and now you're like sharing cosmic insights? How come?
So for me, like, I put it like this. You touched on a very important part. The aspect of the culture here, like the bikinis, the drugs, the fast life, the cars, like the luxury lifestyle. It's very fast moving to where if you miss it, the opportunity to connect with yourself, you would get attached and wrapped up in something, and it would just drive you to a place to where you don't even know the direction in which you're going. So I truly had to take a moment to just be still and analyze what direction in my life do I truly want to go to. So especially in the military, it's very hard, it's very rigid. It's always no emotion, do this, do that right now. There's no time for stillness. There's no time for vulnerability. There's no time for emotion. So once I transitioned out of the military, I had to find a way to come back to myself. Like I was telling you earlier, I just felt it tugging at my consciousness. Come home, come home, come home. But I still had that military mindset of no emotions, don't be vulnerable, let's keep going. And eventually I just got to a point to where I just had to stop, surrender, and listen. And in that moment, I just gave myself to it. The moment that I surrendered, it was just as if a boulder had been lifted off my back, because now I'm coming back to the essence of me. Now I'm coming back to the core, the authentic version of myself, not this conditioned state. I feel like when we are born, we're born with the purity. We're born with the level of vulnerability. We show our emotions. We don't care about what the environment thinks of us or what others' opinions they formulate about us. That's the essence to where my consciousness was tugging me to get back to. But I had this conditioned state from the military, this conditioned state from my demographic and my culture growing up, that you're a man, you don't show no emotion. You're a man, you don't cry, you treat women this particular way. There's all these different paradigms being shoved into me. And I admit, I take full accountability. I accepted them without question. But again, once I got to that transitional point, I had to just liberate myself, surrender, and come back to the level of vulnerability and be free.
Why did you decide to go to the military?
I went because I didn't want to go to college. So all my friends were going to college. I'm the type of person that I'm a contrarian by heart. You tell me to go left, I'm going right. So all my friends were going to school, and here I am, did not want to be like them. I just wanted time to travel, get paid at the same time, and just experience the world. So I was like, you know what, let me go to the military and be paid to do this, to have fun, to travel, and just explore. But the whole time, in the back of my mind, I'm the only child. So I was under the impression that I would never go to war and never have to see nothing like that. So when I get to my base, they're talking about, oh, it's time to start packing so we can deploy out. So I was like, oh no, I don't have to pack my bags. I'm the only child. I don't have to go anywhere. It was like, I need you to read the fine print. So long story short, here I am a couple of weeks later, and I'm all the way in Iraq. So the transition from that, from even getting into the military, like they'll tell you anything to get into the military just to get you in. And once you're in, of course, you can't get back out. So like I took that like a champ, and like with everything, like I took it with gratitude because I tapped into a part of myself that really showed me what I was able to do. Like here I am thousands of miles away in a war zone, in a place where I never thought I would be. And it truly showed me aspects of myself that really brought me to who I am today. For one, level of compassion, because it gave me perspective of looking at how countries show media against other countries. And I'm going over there with this particular mindset of what the American media shows about the country, completely different. It's such a beautiful place. The people are beautiful. But of course, with every community, you have individuals that have different mindsets and different agendas. So, but the country as a whole, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to in my life. By
Wow.
far. Yeah.
Like the
by
German
far.
newspaper doesn't show that as well. Like it's always like a war zone. It's crazy. It's like Taliban all
Yeah.
over the place. And
No, it's not. It's not. Like there's so much unity there. Like if somebody, let's say like I even see like little kids going with other kids' parents, and the kids not even having to tell the other parent, because there's just that tight-knit community. They'll give the shirt off a back to somebody else. They'll give their last meal to somebody else. Like none of that stuff is represented in the media. And it's just, again, like when I thought of the place, I just thought desert, full desert, no nothing, like just poverty. But it's so rich. There's so much wealth over there, but at the same time there is poverty over there. But again, like I've seen like grass pastures, like with waterfalls, majestic trees, just like it's mind-blowing. It's beautiful. And again, like it just gave me perspective to where, okay, now you got to start questioning the stuff that is being fed into your mind and your level of awareness. Like let's listen, but not with the necessity of believing everything that comes in. So like little steps, like, or little transitions like that just gave me experience and perspective when it came to other areas of my life. So it just started making me question like my whole upbringing. Like, why am I like this? Why do I see the world like this? Why do I think like this? Why do I operate like this? Why is this so subconsciously driven? So I just started peeling back different layers. So that's where it initiated and all began from.
you started traveling like after the army then? I read that you were like in Asia as well.
Yeah. I went just like from, oh my goodness, just so many different places, just bouncing, because they have this program where as the military, you can fly for free. They call it a hopper system.
Okay.
You can just get on an airplane and basically and just like hop from different country to different country for free. So me and my friends, we took advantage of it. Yeah.
Not so many people are doing that, or?
No, not, and I'm shocked because it's definitely something that exists. Like you may have to wait, do layovers and wait for somebody not to show up for you to get that seat. But at the same time, like me, especially at that young age, free flight, let's go.
Of course.
And me being in my military outfit, like they always upgraded us to first class. So it was such an adventure, always.
How have you been treated as an American soldier? Like I can imagine that people look at soldiers different to like maybe you in your normal jeans and t-shirt.
Praised. Oh my God, you can take my seat. Oh my God, let me buy you a meal. Oh my God, let me introduce you to my daughter. Yes, it's very different. Like walking on the street, sometimes you won't get like no looks, no gestures, no hellos, no greetings.
Yeah.
But in the military outfit, completely different experience. Like, let me shake your hand. Let me take a picture with you. I thank you for your service. like pure gratitude, you know?
Wow. That is
Completely different.
different.
Yeah, totally different.
Wow. My friend who's living here in Bali, she's from New York, and she's a dog as well. And she told me, like, especially in the, I don't know how to call the community, to be honest. I'm super confused because she told me it's not African American because it's not really African. It's not
Right.
dark, it's not black because it's actually white and black. It's actually super unconsciously white people. I'm not white, and I'm not the good one, and the black one is not the bad one. So I'm right now super confused what to say. Like,
I put it like this. Me, I don't even have a label for it because again, like I'm more into the 5D realm of consciousness of oneness. So the idea of me labeling somebody white, me labeling somebody black, brown, purple, green, or whatever, like I'm just into, like even when people ask me like, oh, what was their ethnicity? Like I'll simply say, I'm not answering that because like I just want to shift a level of consciousness to a greater sense. Like I feel like we are losing touch or our connection to that realm of 5D of oneness consciousness, you know? So like coming back to that 3D, like we get so immersed here to where we forget these other realms of our existence. And I like to toggle between that 5D often.
But how do you
know?
describe somebody? Like when there's like, when I would stand there with blonde hair and another girl with brown hair, wouldn't you say like, oh, I mean the girl with the blonde hair?
Yeah, hair wise, I can do, but when it comes to skin color, just because of the level of climate that is existing right now, I stay away from the color identification or the color label. But when it comes to like, I can say like, oh, her hair, oh, her shirt was this color, or her jeans, her shoes. I'll say something like that for sure, you know?
Okay. So it's America, it's a very vulnerable subject, I can imagine. Because for me, I'm from Germany, you know. We have people from other countries as well, but they are just living there and they're Germans. Like, and they
Right.
get treated like Germans because when they speak perfectly German, it's like, yeah, of course. But in America, it's really like what I hear from my friend. It's very like different communities existing next to each other. And that's,
See, and that's another part. Like, I don't, like, I'm very empathetic to individuals who have experienced it, but in my personal experience, and I'm sure if I did experience, like, our conversation would totally be different right now. But again, like, I've never experienced being profiled or racially slurred towards. Like, I've never experienced that. So, like, I'm empathetic to it, but my experience, I can't necessarily relate. And I do see it vividly, and I will protest or protect the individual that is not getting properly, like not getting proper justice. I'll stand up for that, of course, like no matter what skin color they are. And so I just don't participate in the blind protest. Like I have to have a very direct reason as to what injustice I'm representing and fighting towards.
so it's not because in the media we all hear about, oh, Black Lives Matter. It's like so cruel, so much cruelty,
Cruelty, yeah,
cruelty.
cruelty.
But it's not like that. It's not only racist and only like, because that's the media tenor that I'm hearing actually.
Right. So it's very dependent upon what type of news station you're listening to.
Yeah.
And especially like with me being involved in a particular community, you get a perspective that is not represented on the news. How I was telling you about how Iraq, the media would show twisted imagery to basically condition the mind to make you think a particular way about a particular set of individuals. When if you're there, like I went to Iraq or I went to particular protest, you see it different. You see it for what it actually is. And it's completely different if you go back home and watch what's on the news. Me personally, I don't watch the news just because growing up, how I was telling you about Iraq, like I see, and especially being neuroscientists and psychologists, you can see the manipulation that goes on. You can see the trigger words. You can see the level of conditioning that they're attempting to do. And just the amount of money that they pay these particular psychologists to come in and implement specific wording to trigger the amygdala, to trigger the hippocampus and all these different brain structures, it's mind-blowing. Like, it makes you, especially at this level of consciousness, it makes you like completely avoid it and evade turning on the news ever.
Wow. We talked before about the pop music as well, and how this is actually like influencing us as well. Like, I wasn't aware of it, and you had a beautiful video. I would recommend everyone to see it, about objectification of women.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed watching it, and it was so important for me to actually hear your words and what you said about
Which part stood out or was most impactful?
especially like this pop music, how it's actually influencing in the small things, like the small things actually that is happening, that that men are objectifying women, and we as women objectifying ourselves as well, like how we see our body and how we move our body, that the man would like it. And it's actually something that is really, really dear to me. And that's the reason why I really want to talk with you about that, because it was really like, yes, finally somebody is seeing it as like me, you know?
Right. I had to, because it was eating me up. Because again, how I was mentioning how with the music, they put all this effort, these beautiful tunes, these beautiful rhythmic drums and chords and keys and pianos, to make you move, to make you dance, to forget about what is actually being said in the music. And the wording inside the particular music is the weapon. Because here it is, you can think of it as a sniper. The sniper is fully covered in camouflage. You can't see him. He has the muzzle on, he has a silencer on, but when the bullet hits, the bullet hits. And the bullet are basically the words, because you don't hear the words consciously, but subconsciously they're being programmed dramatically into your subconscious. And how I was mentioning earlier is what ends up happening is now you have this subconscious toolbox, and all these words from the peripheral nervous system that have been downloaded into you, you start utilizing that, and you get to a point to where you're interacting with human beings, especially when it comes to male and female interactions. You notice, like, why am I looking at her breasts? Like, why am I looking at her butt? Like, we're having a conversation. Why am I not looking at her eyes? Like, what's going on? Why am I always horny the first time that I talk to a woman? Why is the first thought, I just want to have sex with her? So you start questioning this, and you like begin to, your sacral becomes so overactive, and you're just like, you know what? I got to take time, and I have to heal this, and I have to sit with this and address it, because this is beyond crazy. Like, this wasn't me as a child. So why is it happening now? And where is it stemming from?
Yeah.
Music, movies, social media, just family members, associates, like all these people who have this particular conditioning. Like, put it like this, an example, driving down the street, a car full of my homeboys, we see a woman on the side of the road, we go bananas. Damn, look at her body. Dang, look at her ASS. And it's mind blowing, because like, describing a woman in that nature, especially compared to what she actually is, this divine freaking life-sustaining creature, oh my goodness, and this energy. But here we are reducing her to body parts, erogenous zones for us to procreate with. And it's so much more than that. So it just brought me to a place to where like it wasn't sitting easy with me. So I needed to study it. I needed to explore it and figure out like why. And again, I go back and listen to the type of music that I was listening to, do this to the woman, do that to the woman, get multiple women. It's just like, no, man, like that is so not a message that I stand for. So I immediately had to begin to just rewire my whole programming and start listening to classical music, alternative music, and podcasts and audiobooks, to where like, okay, now I feel my neuronal pathways coming in and creating neurogenesis to create new thought patterns. And that's when it began to just give me so much perspective. Like, we have so much work to do as the male species. And it resonates from a place of, we fear the true capability and possibility that women, the divine feminine, actually possess. So it's coming from a place of we actually feel inferior to you women. So here we are trying to downgrade and depress and manipulate and control the woman to feel superior, when actually you women, you life-sustaining women are everything, you know? So, because technically, what would we wouldn't be here without you women. So it's like we need to get back to the origin of showing gratitude, showing compassion and empathy to the woman. And us as the male energy, we need to start diving into the depths of our psychology and understanding, why do we view that as entertainment? Why is that so heavily praised in our community and in our culture? Why are they rewarded with so much money for the message that they spew into the minds of these young pupils? So we have to change, you know? So.
But for every man who's thinking like, okay, I know that feeling like this woman, I'm saying like, oh, she has a good ass and wow, what can you do now? Like, what is the first step for him to actually do the change?
Number one is how we were discussing earlier, becoming conscious. Like once you become conscious of your thought patterns, once these intrusive thoughts are verbalized, whether silently, and you become conscious of like that, oh, look at her breast, look at her body, whatever. Once you hear that, even if it's in your head or you say it out loud, catch that, become conscious of that, and question that. First thing, why? Why am I saying that? Once the why is initiated, you begin to reverse engineer and work your way backwards to understanding, where is this coming from? Okay, why did I say that? Where is this coming from? Let's track it. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Oh shit, I see a correlation in the music. Oh man, I see a correlation in the movies. I see a correlation in how my dad raised me. I see a correlation in how my boys treat. You know what? That doesn't necessarily resonate with me. I need to sit with myself and I need to implement a level of honesty, vulnerability, and just straight compassion to understanding I want to operate differently because it's not registering with me. It's not resonating with me on a spiritual level. So again, the first step number one is becoming conscious of it. Ask yourself why. That's step number one.
That's a good one. Start with why. Yeah. I'm always asking who has a benefit from it.
From what exactly?
From what is happening in the world, from who has a benefit that I'm listening to pop music and I'm objectifying myself and my own body. Like,
right.
Who has a benefit from it? Why is everybody supporting it and nobody's questioning it? It always makes me wonder.
It's coming down generation from generation. Like, let's pass this over to the children. Like, even young children are dancing to these songs.
Yeah.
Young children are they know little children know the words to these lyrics of songs before they even know their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Mm-hmm. Like, it's being ingrained in that nature, especially like with the car rides to and from work, to and from school with the children in the car. They are playing this particular music. I'm not judging because I'm coming from a place of understanding and perspective, but like I'm speaking from my experience. Mm-hmm. I see it to where, and I've also done it to where the children are in the back and you're playing this particular music. Now, why wouldn't the children grow up with this in their subconscious toolbox, utilizing these tools? And the scary part is just how it's not just affecting the male, it's also affecting the woman as well, because now they're being from the males objectifying the woman. Like, let me ask you this, like, how do you feel like that affects you, like with that particular messaging?
I think I see it in so many ways, like to be afraid of men, because it's like, oh, when I'm meeting him, he just want to have sex with me. So right. It's really like downgrading a man, actually not really thinking like, oh, he would maybe love me because of me, but I have to be the most sexiest woman that I actually get a man and that I attract a man. And it's very scary. When I started with discovering this programming, I was shocked. I was like, oh fuck, that's all in me? Damn it.
Right. Layer by layer, right?
Yes.
And we haven't even reached half of it yet. That's the beautiful part about it. It's all possibility though, you know? So, yeah. Because like, even how you were saying, like, you succumb to what you think the male wants.
Yeah.
So I've seen it to where like they wake up before the male to put on makeup, to make sure that their teeth are brushed. They make sure that they can't even like be comfortable around themselves. Like they detour their true natural energy to be somebody else in which they aren't truly, and don't understand why the relationship is not working, because you're not being authentic. You know, like we play that whole perfect pretender, but that can only last for so long. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I just think like we just have to become conscious.
Yeah.
For sure.
Super interesting. It's super interesting, this male-female dynamic that is actually now really showing itself and showing like, okay, it's not really working, and like this relationship that where people are living next to each other, not really with each other. And
True.
I'm super interesting because we just talked about that you have 2 baby girls.
Yeah.
And because this topic behind you, that's actually not this carpet.
Oh, you see it back there? That's their little play mats. Yeah.
So how do you raise your kids to not be programmed into that system and into this mindset of, oh, I'm a girl, I have to be like super cute, you know, like how we get raised like as women?
Well, I put it like this. My 7-month-old consciously isn't there yet, but that 2-year-old, like I'm very hands-on. I take a very conscious approach with her. She gets best of both worlds, because especially like with the music, she doesn't get influenced by that. Because right now what we're working on is I'm very in tune to what she listens to, what she eats. Like for instance, like the whole vegan concept, like being in tune to what she's putting in, ingesting into her body. The music is none of that type of music. I teach her about the chakras. She knows where her third eye, she knows where her heart chakra is. Like she's not able to fully comprehend like the divine of what it actually is. But when we meditate, I ask her, do you feel it? She's like, I feel it, daddy. I feel it, daddy. So like, just like getting her in tune, to be in tune with like the sensations in her body is mind blowing, you know? So again, just rearing up that conscious child, but starting with myself being conscious of how I talk to her. And there's this cool concept that a lot of us psychologists use, is when we talk to the child, instead of like hovering over her, like if, let's say she does something that is not in agreement with me, instead of yelling, it's more effective for us to kneel down, to be eye level and communicate your message to them. So like little techniques like that is just like stuff that like creates a level of equalness and oneness. Because like I'm more authoritarian, and that's not the approach that I want to take. Like I don't want her to fear when I'm trying to translate into a message for her. So like just little techniques like that just are like game shifting when it comes to rearing her in a conscious way.
I love how you said that I'm not agreeing with. So it's not actually that she made wrong. It's not, you're not agreeing with that. It was really
good girl, bad girl, right, wrong. None of that stuff is in this house. None of that. Good girl, bad girl, right, wrong. None of it.
Wow.
None.
How do you manage that, to not say these words? Because for me, I feel like I'm still trying to get rid of them, but it's still in there.
For me, it took practice. Like it definitely wasn't a light switch to where it was overnight. It just took me listening very strategically to even in people's conversation. And I started counting. I started like just playing a mind game with myself and counting how many times people started saying good, bad, right, wrong, like stuff in that nature, to where once I started counting, like it truly made me conscious. It reflected back to, all right, it's your turn to talk. You're not gonna say good, bad, right, or wrong. Or let's pick a different word, and we're not gonna use that word all day. A word that I would use multiple times, or like to say yes, I would get creative and say another type of word. So it just taught me to be conscious of everything that comes out of my mouth. So like even in my videos, like I've said this once, to where how I just paused right now, because I want to be very, not strategic, but is very conscious of the wording and the message that comes out, because I don't want to just to talk. I don't want to just say a message just to say a message. Like I want to be very precise, very in tune to what source is attempting to communicate and channel through me. So consciousness, like that's at the core level of it all, consciousness. Consciousness.
There's like this story with there's 3 layers, and if you, is it true, is it
Oh,
do you know?
I heard it, but I don't remember it verbatim.
Yeah, but
is it true?
Is it important, and is it affecting me or something like that? Or,
Right, something like that.
yeah, and I was just thinking of that. It's super nice. It's super beautiful.
It's funny because when I first seen that, it was on a meme somewhere.
Yeah.
I implemented that into my life for a little bit, but like I totally forgot the words verbatim. But when people would talk to me, I would actually ask them, because I started off with my mother-in-law. Like I started asking her, is it true? And I went down the list to the other ones, and by the time she said one no, she started laughing. But what that did was it taught us both to start being more conscious about the things that we share with people and how we share it with people. So it was a really cool concept, but I have to find it because I want to remember what they were.
And me too. And now everybody is looking like, what? I will put it down in the description so you can have a look. And you actually wrote 2 books.
Yes.
And that's a huge thing, like writing 2 books. That's amazing. So congratulations to that.
Well, this one,
House of
Self-Love and The Power of Adversity.
Wow.
Because even with this one, The Power of Adversity, that was me reconditioning my mindset again. Like we're conditioned, no, I don't want to face any adversity, no challenges. Like I just want life to be smooth sailing. Man, fuck that. The power that resides within adversity, like if you just think about it, adversity is the mother of all success. All success. Because despite what type of journey the person or individual is on, they're going to experience some adversity. And if they allow that challenge or impedance to stop them, that perceived level of success, we're already successful. Like us just being human, us just being forms of energy, we're already successful. But I'm referring to the human ideology of success, like monetary or tangible asset or something of that nature. If we stop at the first sign of impedance, we'll never get to where we're actually trying to go. And just the idea that adversity creates perspective, and if we just stop and say, thank you for this adversity, it switches everything. Because that mindset of saying thank you generates that level of gratitude to where, you know what, I'm solution-based thinking now because I see that this adversity is not against me, it's actually for me. It's to strengthen me. And in this particular book, I talk about I am the strongest tree in the forest. So you think about like all these different size trees, some small, some big trees, all planted in this forest. A storm comes through and rips up all the trees that basically don't have deep rooted systems. They're all gone. Now they're being decomposed and going back into nature as another form of energy. But these big solid trees with deep root system and hyphae systems, they're staying, they're producing canopies, they're producing, what do you want to call it? Like shelter for other animals. And now they're continuously growing and just continuously getting stronger. So each time that the wind sways them, they produce an actual stimulant inside the tree to dig the root system even deeper. And that same concept is for us. Every time that a storm or challenge or impedance hits us, let's dig our root system deeper from that stimulation and continue to grow upwards and outwards. So that book right there meant everything for me. That was my paradigm shifting book for me, for sure.
Sounds really, really good.
For me, yes, because I wrote that book for me to understand like why I operate the way that I operate. Why do I avoid challenges or a challenging route when I know on the other side of that is exactly what I want? So I had to write that for me. And I was just like, you know what? I can't keep this to myself. Let me share this with the universe. So I put it out.
And it's super interesting because in society, like, oh, you have a challenge. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, it's this pity that you get. And a lot of people going into this victim mindset and like, oh, I'm a loser, I'm la 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 la. So all this bad talk.
Right.
And actually what
Self-talk
you're
too.
saying is like,
Yeah.
you can be, it's good to have challenges. It's good to experience that because you get stronger. So it's actually
Right.
taking responsibility and control again, like kind of control.
100%. Same concept when you work out muscles. You have to rip and stretch and tear the damn muscle in order for it to grow. And we are that muscle. So absolutely.
Yeah.
So I always tell the universe to rip me, tear me, pull me down, pull me, like just stretch me the hell out, because I understand and I trust the process that you're going to provide everything that is intended for me to get to exactly where I'm trying to go. So when the universe provides what we perceive as a challenge or adversity, again, I say thank you.
So how do you, when you are in a challenge, how do you change from this victim mindset or this, oh, damn, why is it happening? How do you change that into, okay, thank you.
Where I'm at now, it's second nature for me to just be like, thank you immediately. Like I can get in a car accident, smash like my head into the windshield, whatever.
Yeah.
Immediately, I'm saying thank you. Hell, I'm still alive. I find something in that scenario to say thank you for. And what it really boils down to is how we mentioned earlier, being conscious of our thoughts, being conscious of our intrapersonal communication also, because that internal dialogue is the core of it all. Like most of the internal dialogue, we don't speak because we don't even want other people to hear how derogatory we speak to ourselves. So the internal dialogue, I had to just start exercises again of just saying, I am capable, I am worthy, just like a bunch, just downloading self-love and self-worth concepts into my mind to where eventually it just became second nature. So be like, once an individual hears this, our exchange of energy and our conversation right now, you are now conscious of the possibility to begin to rewire. So now that you are exposed to that stimulant, that conditioning, you're able to take this challenge and to start just pumping yourself with worthy messages of internal dialogue. Don't even speak them out. Start off with the internal dialogue. Start off saying, I am capable, I am worthy, adversity is for me, I am not a victim, the universe moves and operates through me, I am the universe. Like whatever affirmation you want to utilize, just start pumping it into your internal dialogue. And eventually that voice is going to override your entire system and you're going to be on autopilot. Hopefully.
That's beautiful. And the last topic I want to go into is, why did you start with social media? Why did you start to spread this this positivity and this high frequency out there?
So it's funny, for this book, for me, I needed a journal. The social media was my journal. Instead of writing on pen and paper, I would just write on Facebook. I'll just write my post. Like today, I'll think about something with adversity and I'll just type it out. I think my daughter's coming. What's up, Queen? Huh? I'm on the phone call, Queen. You say hello? Say hi.
Oh, you are beautiful.
Say
Wow,
thank you.
hi.
Give me a kiss so I can finish, okay? Give me a kiss. All right, go back. Go. I'll be in there in a little bit. Bye.
She's so cute.
Thank you. What was I saying? Oh, I needed a way. I needed an outlet, and that was my outlet. So I just kept journaling, kept getting it out onto social media to not only impregnate my mentality, but to also do it and penetrate other people's mentality also. And the interesting part is I kept going. All my previous friends on Facebook knew me from the type of music that I used to listen to those type of days. Like, let's go get girls, let's go get drunk, let's go do this. So when I transitioned into writing these type of messages, I used to get no response, but I just pushed through and kept, I mean like zero. But if I put something downgrading to like woman or like something just stupid messages out there, everybody wants to comment. Everybody would like it. So I liked it because that just showed me, you know what? this is a new me. They don't even know how to prepare for this. I want to see what this evolves into. So I kept going because, again, I was telling you how I'm a contrarian. You tell me to go left, I'm going right. So the moment that I seen, you know what, dang, this is how all my friends are. Let me transition and start going the opposite route. So here I am, fast forward.
Wow.
So yeah.
And I'm so grateful that you did. And it's so
Thank you.
encouraging, like, to hear, like, okay, I kept going.
I'm shocked she didn't come up here and sit down and start talking. I'm really shocked that she didn't. You know, every single interview that I do, she comes and she gets into the interview. So when I go back and listen to it, all you hear is her talking. It cracks me up, man.
Yeah, it's the energy. I think that's the energy. Like she's saying, "Oh, that's interesting. Something is happening."
Totally.
Like, oh.
Like I can easily see her. Like, not that I would push her into anything, but like I can kind of see her gravitating towards this. Like, even like when I read her my books. So sometimes, like, I know she's not fully comprehending the message, but like she'll go grab my book most of the time before she'll grab one of her books. And it's just like interesting because like I can see the programming being effective. Yeah. And I'm glad that it's programming that can be beneficial to her existence.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so he grows up to be a self-loving human.
And that's why I wrote that book, A Dose of Self-Love. Like, I dedicated it. It's a message just in case, because I'm into that whole existential psychology. Like, I know this vessel, this 3D vessel, will eventually expire, and I'll become another form of energy. So just in case that happens before I'm able to have dialogue with her, that's what this book is about. This book is basically pouring self-love and self-worth messaging into her. So it's a dialogue. It's written in poetry form, dialogue form, for me to be able to express, like, you're a queen, you're a beautiful, you operate on a level of divinity that is not registered very highly. So continue to track on your mission, on your pathway, and just evolve into exactly what you envision, evolve into what intuition guides you towards. So that's what that book is about.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Cosmic. Thank you so much for this beautiful interview and that, for sharing your message and for sharing your knowledge.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so beyond grateful. This was beautiful exchange. Beautiful.
I really enjoyed the conversation. I hope you all too. And I will link all the information to the books and to Cosmic's Instagram down here. And
you have YouTube?
Yes, it will be on YouTube.
Okay, I was gonna say we gotta exchange YouTube. I gotta subscribe to your channel.
Yes.
Because my channel is Cosmic Byron. What's your channel?
I will launch it actually. You will be my launch week on the beginning.
Okay, perfect. High five, high five.
Yeah.
Give me high five. There we go.
Well.
Nice.
Ich freue mich so sehr, dass du dir dieses Interview angeschaut hast. Ich hoffe, es konnte dich genauso berühren und genauso bewegen, wie es mich bewegt hat. Ich hatte auf jeden Fall unglaublich viel Spaß und ganz viele Aha-Erlebnisse bei diesem Interview. Und ich bin total gespannt, was du daraus mitgenommen hast. Kommentiere gerne hier unten und lass die anderen daran teilhaben, was für dich das größte Aha-Erlebnis war. Und vielleicht hast du ja auch noch irgendwas zu teilen zu genau diesem Thema. Like auch gern dieses Video, abonniere meinen Kanal und teile das Video mit deinen Freunden. Ich würde mich so freuen, wenn du hier diesen Kanal supportest und dieses Interview mit deinen Freunden teilst, weil mich dieses Interview total bewegt hat. Danke, danke, danke dir fürs Zuschauen. Deine Silja.